Hi, Charles Moman here. Well, on today's agenda is cutting 2 holes in the roof of this Transit and putting in the back a MaxxAir passive vent and in the front a MaxxAir 5100K fan. Thanks for watching. Well, just a word or two before I show you how I'm marking them and getting ready to cut the holes. In a way, it's a shame that this process comes so early in the van build, because if you don't cut that hole and get your fan in, if you're doing that, most people do. Some people put 2 in. I'm putting in a fan and a vent. But if you don't have that, how are you going to finish if you're doing sound deadening and insulation and sealing? You know, I would not want to do that after everything else is done. So it comes early, and if someone's not done this before, it's intimidating. I'm still a little intimidated, but I'll be okay. I did it on my little mini camper, and so I've had the experience, and I know it's just a 14-inch square. Cut it right, seal it, and you're good. But it's still cutting a hole in your van. So let me briefly explain about the passive vent. It's in one piece with the MaxxAir fan. This ring is separate, but this is all one piece. And so this will be sitting up on the top, and this will be pointed to the back. And so you don't have rain coming in, but rain cannot get in this. It's really neat how they've got it designed inside there. And so it's a passive vent. And let me show you, in case you've not seen one of these. This is what you see up here when it's all finished off. And it does have what's called a garnish ring that fits it all around this when you finish your sealing. But it's a passive vent, so it just opens. So you use it like this. Open, close it. It's got a bug screen. And if you don't have a insulated cover over it, in cold weather, some air could come in or out, and I think that's a good thing. And so we never worry about covering that. You make a template, and here I made a template out of cardboard, and you either can use the inner ring of that, or in my case, I found out about DIY Van out in Oregon, and Hain makes these CNC routed adapters and other things out of this thick material, and they're routed. I don't know if you can really see it real well. You'll see it when I install it, but these fit perfectly on the ribs so that this fan, when we put it on, is flat. And so I'll be putting window weld, sealing it down, and then I'll be screwing through into this. And in this case, I have these structural beams here. And so I'm not doing a wood frame. Instead, he also sells these supports. So these supports will go in here, and I'll be screwing into these. And this is very light, so I'll be running screws all along here on both sides, and then just much shorter screws into just the adapter. I don't think I'll be screwing through because it's so light, and it'll be holding it with all the adhesive. With the fan, it's a little more involved because it's in an open area. So let me show you that next. So you have a choice. For the most part, people use a Fantastic fan or a MaxxAir. And I like the MaxxAirs because of it's got the built-in rain hood. You don't have to put in some big awkward tall one that's an add-on. And so I'm using again what I did in the little camper. It's a 5100K 10-speed reversible without the remote. We decided we didn't need that. So and again, I have the adapter that's going to go on the roof. It's CNC routed. It fits on the ribs. It'll be 3M window welded down, and then this adapter will drop through it, and it'll be we'll have die-core, we'll have all that going, and you'll see that drilling through. And I showed you the adapters, and in the back, in this case, it's a wider area, and so these adapters fit the profile here just like that, and this one goes over here. And so we've got this one going this way. You notice it's nice, good thickness there, so it gives me plenty of space to screw down tightly. And in this case, not only will we have this across, then this will go in between. So it's the same as having a wood frame, but it's a different material. And the profile fits it perfectly, so you don't have to be messing with all the different angles. He's done that for you. I mean, you can do it yourself if you want, but that's how this one's going to work. So I will now, on both of these, be drilling a hole through the center of where the fan is going to be. Then I'll go on top and mark it up there, and then I'm ready to start cutting. Here we go. Well, it's an important step to wash that roof off to get it really nice and clean. I think you've seen a vehicle wash before, so we'll skip that, okay? So I've got my work area where I'm going to put the passive vent ready. See the cardboard there? I have a little screwdriver sticking through it, and it's pretty close to the dead center, but not quite. I'm going to put the adapter over the ribs and mark it where it's going to be. And so I've got all my tools up here ready. So I've got this in between the ribs, and the nice thing is it's not, I keep saying, not rocket science. It's this wide, so you do have a little leeway, so it's not like you have to be 1/128th of an inch close. You want to be close, and so I've already taken the inside of this adapter and I'm marking it. So now I've got my black line, and so I'm going to tape. You don't need to see me doing that. I'm going to tape all around, and then I'll have Susie tape me when I'm cutting. So I've drilled a hole in the middle, and then I've got my 4 corners. I've holes, so if I stop, I have a place to get in. And we are sweeping as we go, but right now I know some people have the sweeper while you're cutting, but we're not going to do that. It'll be fine. We'll keep it all clean, and we'll do it right. And I've measured, and actually from line to line, when you draw inside that frame, it's going to be smaller than 14 by 14, so I can definitely cut on the line or a little outside of it. And I've got the shoulders are going to go over this ridge anyway, so hopefully I won't have to do too much trimming afterwards. And I ended up with the last was a 3/8 inch drill bit so that I can fit this through, and it's a good idea to just practice in the center. Here, this is a wasted piece anyway, just to get the feel of it, because it will go faster than you think. Hopefully you're putting in a brand new blade. This is for thin metal. I'm showing you it doesn't take a lot of effort. So I'm going to get started in a corner and get going here. And so what I'm going to do is I get going, since we're not holding it underneath, I'm going to put tape on sections so that it won't drop on me, and it will vibrate more if I don't do this. And you saw it jumping there. I know I'm just catching the edge of that structural beam through there, which I expected would happen. So I think we're good. Not worried about that. It's such a wide gasket, it will work. So I'm going to put another piece of tape here to hold it. And so there we go. So I just had to do a little bit of trimming here. You didn't need to see me do that. So here's this adapter, and again, it's got this routed part, so it fits on right on these channels here. And then I'll go ahead and drop this in. And so that's how it's going to fit. So what's left here to do is I'm going to do a little more filing, and then I need to paint the raw edge. You don't need to see me do that. And then I might film me, but I don't really need to. I'm going to put 3 small narrow rows of window weld and put this on here. And they say you really don't need to clamp it, but if you do, do it very lightly. Let it cure and finish it up in the morning, where I'll put butyl tape on here and then screw it all in, done. So I've got the hole for the passive vent all done. I painted it. And I went ahead and set the adapter and dropped in the vent. What I'm going to do is, I've already got the box already taped up here. I've got the hole marked up above, And I'm working in a wider expanse now, so I have to make sure to stay on these structural beams. And but it'll work out fine, so I'm ready to cut that. And after I get that cut, the edges painted with Rust-Oleum, and everything's going to fit right, then I use the 3M window weld on the adapters for both of them. Here we go. I may not mention this before. You'll see most everyone will do this. You put tape on here just to protect the surface as you're cutting. So I'm going to cut this, and then you don't need to see me sanding and painting. Just 3 beads of that window weld, and you press it down. Nothing to it. I've just pre-drilled the holes here, and then I'm now putting the butyl tape around the edge of this, and I'll be pushing this down onto the adapter, screwing it down, and then I'll be putting the lap sealant. Alright, well, I actually did, I think, a neater job on my mini camper. A little sloppy here. Of course, I've seen people put piles of it on, so I've got a little bit more to do on the edge here, and then I'm going to smooth it around a little bit, and then I'll check it again. It's self-leveling, and so I just like to really, it's better to get it covered without going crazy. So I have blue tape that I'll pull off here shortly. I'll let it set for a little bit, and that just gives you a neater line. But again, nobody's going to see this, so not a huge deal. So you just have to be kind of patient and realize it's going to slope over on its own. Well, there it is. It's almost a thing of beauty. Got a few globs where I didn't want them, but there's the MaxxAir passive vent. So I'll be cleaning all around here, but I've got this sealed on. You see some black glue here, and that's that 3M window weld, which is nasty to work with. I got to tell you, I don't like it, but it's supposed to be what you're supposed to use. And so I'll get the butyl tape on here, squish it down, put the screws on, and I can go ahead and get this fan on, just not wired. I am glad to get this done. Alright, well, I finished doing my Dicor lap sealant. I might have done a little better on this one, and I kind of like to put it heavy on the front because it's catching the wind first, but this baby's staying down with all the screws and everything. So next I just drop in the fan. Sorry, I'm not going to do that for you. You drop in the fan, you put in the 4 screws. Sometimes you have to kind of adjust them a little bit. Well, I was glad to get that finished last night. You know, ran into a few little snags getting the supports to hold up yesterday. Clamp them. Be careful when you clamp them, you don't deform the roof because you can really easily bring it down. So just be careful. If I was doing this again, the only thing I would do different is these braces. I use the Loctite quick grab construction adhesive, and I use that for the smaller brackets here, and just held them, and then they bonded so fast, whereas the 3M window weld wanted to come down, so I had to clamp them and wait quite several hours all day long just to make sure they were really nice and tight. So maybe that would be the difference. And I think I've shown you all the steps about cutting it carefully and sanding it and painting it and getting the make sure you're right exactly where you want to be, and just follow the steps with the butyl tape and then the Dicor. Don't be shy with that. That's about it, except for the roof platform that I'll be building up there. And I think that's enough, and thanks for watching.